Hello and welcome. You know that feeling, right? You're just driving along, minding your own business, and then, bam, that little orange check engine light pops on. It's that universal symbol for, oh great, this is going to be a whole thing. But it doesn't have to be a mystery.
So that light is on. Now what? Well, it's just a message from your car's computer. And if you're driving a Mitsubishi, there's a good chance that message is code P0037. In this explainer, we're going to decode that exact message so you know exactly what your car is trying to tell you. Okay, let's get into it.
First things first, let's think of this error code not as the problem itself, but more like the main symptom. You know, just like a doctor starts with your symptoms, we're starting here to figure out what's really going on under the hood. So what is P0037? The bottom line is this. Your car's computer has spotted something wrong with the heating system for a very specific part, the rear oxygen sensor. It's a really precise alert, which is good news because it points us right where we need to look. And you know, the computer isn't just making a wild guess here, it's incredibly specific. This code only gets triggered when the electrical juice, the current and voltage, going to that heater drops too low for more than 2 seconds straight. It's a very particular electrical hiccup, and that's what makes the diagnosis so accurate.
Okay, so a sensor heater is acting up. Big deal, right? Why should you even care? Well, this little component plays a surprisingly huge role in how well your car runs. Let's take a quick look at what it actually does.
Think of the oxygen sensor as a tiny nerve ending in your exhaust system. It's constantly sending messages back to the car's brain, making sure the engine is running efficiently and keeping emissions clean. The heater's only job is to get that sensor warmed up and working super fast, pretty much the second you start the car.
All right, so we know the symptom is a problem with that sensor's heater circuit. Now we get to play detective. When a mechanic looks at this, they're basically running down a list of the usual suspects to find the real root cause.
So, what could be causing this? Well, when a mechanic tackles code P0037, they're typically looking for one of 5 common culprits. That's it, just 5 things that are probably responsible for that check engine light. Let's run through them.
And here they are, our 5 suspects. You probably noticed a theme, right? Most of these are electrical issues. We could be dealing with a problem in the circuit itself, the main bundle of wires, the heater element, the plug, or in some rarer cases, the car's main computer. Let's break these down real quick. An open circuit is like a drawbridge that's stuck up. The electrical signal just can't get across. A shorted circuit is when the signal takes a wrong turn and ends up where it shouldn't. Either way, the message gets lost. Next up, a damaged wiring harness. Think of the harness as a major highway for all those electrical signals. If that highway gets a big pothole or some other damage, you're going to get a major traffic jam, and the signals get disrupted. Now, a failed sensor heater is a bit more direct, and honestly, it's one of the most common reasons for this code. The little heating element inside the sensor has simply burned out. Yep, just like the filament in an old light bulb. It's done its job, and now it's retired. Then you've got the connector. Sometimes it's the simplest thing. The physical plug that connects the sensor to all that wiring might just be loose, corroded, or cracked. If that connection isn't solid, nothing's going to work right.
And last on our list, a failed engine control module, or ECM. This is the car's brain. Now, while it is a possibility, it's usually the very last thing a mechanic checks, because frankly, a problem with the wiring or the sensor itself is just way more common.
So, we've covered the 5 potential diagnoses. But here's the good news. For every single one of those problems, there's a very direct and specific treatment. Let's look at the solutions.
This table really lays it all out perfectly. There's no guesswork. If the circuit is shorted, it gets repaired. If the harness, sensor, or connector is busted, that specific part gets replaced. And yeah, if the ECM is the problem, it gets replaced. It's a clear one-to-one fix for each problem.
Now, here's the thing. For every single one of those solutions, the experts repeat one critical piece of advice. This is not a weekend DIY project. Seriously, we're talking about sensitive electrical systems, and a small mistake could cause even bigger problems.
Okay, with all that information, what's your prescription? What do you, the driver, with that annoying light on your dash, do next? Well, it's actually pretty simple.
Here is your 3-step game plan. Number 1, you now understand the 5 likely reasons that light is on. You're informed, not in the dark. Number 2, you recognize this is a job for a pro. And number 3, you schedule a visit with a mechanic you trust to get a proper diagnostic. Simple. You're taking clear, informed action. And that leaves us with one final thought. You're not just walking into the shop with a problem anymore, you're walking in with knowledge. Instead of just saying, hey, my check engine light is on, you can have a real, intelligent conversation. So what are you going to ask your mechanic to check first?